Yo. Yeah. Damn. Maybach music. Anakin Skywalker. Thank you for the 5 buccarinos right out the gate. You got the bar, be right back. Be safe. Bonus content. That's right, baby. We finally got to it. Came early for the ladies. Nice. They love when you do that. Chat is very cool. Yeah, we're dropping some new DLC. Hell yeah. More DLC than Overwatch ever put out. Sounds like Parov Stellar. Let's see who this is. This is Gavinko Silver. They got Gavinko, Belair, Pierre Moritz, Capote, the Muha, Mr. Jazzy Wong, Gesto Funk featuring Jocelyn Brown. There you go. Some solid artists on the lineup tonight, bro. Hey, Richard Strader, welcome back for 19 months as well. 19 minutes already. How's it going, everyone? Hope all is well. Also, Joel, I just got the Shure MB7 for recording. I absolutely love it. Nice. That's awesome. Are you doing? You're doing podcasting? Is this a new Sam Riding story? It is. Yeah. Excited to see what he's got for us. Yaposaurus Rex, exactly. I'm turning Japanese. Smoother than the music. Damn. Remember Jet Set Radio? Did you guys ever play that? Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Yeah, I remember in college I was at like a house party, which like they don't tell you how much better house parties are than bars when you're younger. Then once you graduate, you know, in America at least to 21, and you got to go to bars now because being at house parties is considered weird or something. You don't realize that bars are fucking lame. And Elvis Press Play, welcome back. For 16 months, it's always good to come early for boner content. Let's go. You got it. What am I eating? I'm eating a big bowl of fucking sloshed up mixed berries. I'm telling you guys, mixed berries like in the frozen format that then thaw out in comparison to normal berries, but just food overall, has been like the absolute game changer for digestion. Tell your sister Yasmin, what's up? What's up, Yasmin? Started getting louder, I know. Mushy, but better. Yeah, I would say. Especially if you get it like just overnight. It's like the perfect time. You put a little honey on that shit. Oh my god, bro. Wanna be your Valentine? Yeah, sure. Easy peasy. Free ASMR. Completely free. What I should chart. Well, you know what? Now that everybody's into ASMR, if you're like in a restaurant, you should just go up behind somebody and just start eating in their ear. And they might just like it. Tiffany Williams with the one gifter, the Melissa Milgram, welcome. And thank you, Tiffany, and welcome, Melissa. You now have access to bonus content on the bonus content playlist. You will soon have access to even more. Randy, 90 days clean. I heard a guy, you know, and I don't know, I like this thought process, but I've never struggled with addiction, thankfully, but, you know, I feel for those who have. I have family members who really go through that shit, and it's a tough life, to be honest with you. But they say, don't count the days. Just think, from now on, this is the new me. Days don't matter anymore, because I'm not going to look back and say to myself, oh, it's been 90 days since I relapsed or gone back to whatever substance. So just don't count the days and just look forward. Wish you a happy birthday, Big Maze. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, everybody whip out your butter socks. Gather in a circle. Smacking lips in the visuals. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the food eating sounds either. Hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. I'm almost done. Anakin Skinwalker with the 10 says, hi Joel, I hope you're well. Been a minute since I joined a live. I was wondering, spooky vids tonight? I hope you don't mind me asking for spooky vid reactions. I don't want to be rude. Oh, no, not at all. You're good. Yeah, we'll see how we're feeling at the end of this story set, and I'm imagining that wouldn't be too bad of a thing. But thank you for the 10, and it's good to see you. And Lego Zach Boy, what's up? Thank you for the 10. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's not to say that you shouldn't. Should definitely celebrate. Definitely celebrate sobriety for sure. But just put those, you know, if you're marking down the days, you know, like you're Tom Hanks in Castaway on some cave wall somewhere, it's too much of a reminder of how long it's been, and, you know, sometimes telling yourself, oh, I deserve a little treat. So you just completely shut off from that life and just focus only on the horizon. Kimberly Martin, thank you for the 10. And your third super on a live stream. Thank you, thank you. Wilson! Have you seen the new Godzilla -1? I did, yeah. It was pretty good. It was a movie for sure. I like the part where he shot a big hyper beam out of his butt. Or is he running a car cigarette lighter? It's, yeah, people have said it's either that or like a butt plug or the side of a Pod Racer, the engine. How do you regulate the lives on your, or the sound on your lives? I have a mixer that, you know, this is like this is a microphone with an XLR cord that goes to a mixer that's like manual. And I usually just keep it at the same thing once I found like a good volume. But you know, it goes to Streamlabs, and there I can like listen back to what it sounds like in real time if I want to. We can do some test recordings with it too. If you know, and I basically just found it where I was like, oh, this sounds a lot like my narrations. I'm like, all right, we'll just stick with this. That's to foreshadowing Mechagodzilla fighting Ramadan in the next film or whatever. There was foreshadowing, really? He's in a battle with Ramadan. Give your friend Boo a shout out. What up, Boo? Boo! No themed bonus content tonight. No. So I realized Monday's going to be another compilation video. Time's really flying by. And I was like, alright, well, let's give me some time to actually do the bonus content. Well, I guess the theme for tonight technically is like a Western story. But it's like all part of one larger story. It's Godzilla's 70th birthday party. Happy birthday, Godzilla! Godzilla! Happy birthday, Godzilla! That'd be funny if they yelled that at him. And he just goes like, and like blows the whole town up. It's also really funny that the people that took down Godzilla in that movie. How do I feel about blaming it on George? I love blaming it on George. He is my beloved Georgie boy. Who is your favorite narrators on YouTube? I don't know. I don't really listen to I don't really listen to like other people. Back in the day, there was a guy named Night Terrors. I've mentioned about him before. Oh yeah, and I streamed a day early because tomorrow is the Super Bowl. It's the Bourbon Bowl. It's going down. Down. Can you imagine instead of saving Christmas, we have a movie centered around a kaiju beating up Ramadan? It's coming. Am I in the U.S.? Yepper. Chiefs for the win. Taylor Swift's gonna throw the final pass. Who am I rooting for? I am rooting for the 49ers. I am just sick and tired of all the scripted bullshit. And I think Kittle, McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and the whole crew. Oh, Trent Williams. I think they all deserve a Super Bowl. Whole squad deserves it. They've worked their butts off for years and years, and I think this is the time where they're probably exhausted anyways from like injuries. So I think they just need a nice big payday, and then they can decide from here on out if they want to stay healthy and keep going, or get their big paycheck and quit like most NFL players. Who about to sleep on live? You going to bed? What do you think? Or how do you feel about doing West Virginia stories? I definitely could look into it. I feel like I've read stories from there. Just never like concentrated the content to specifically that before. Destroyer Lynn with the 2 says, popping in, gotta work at 6 a.m. but wanted to say, ooh, woo, ooh, woo, ooh, woo. Ooh, ooh. Blanky mode. They got the big paycheck to throw the game for the Chiefs. I guess that's true. I wonder if there's any sort of like FCC. Oh, maybe like some like NFL sleuths who earnestly believe in the scripted thing and want to like really dig into it. I wonder if there's like something with the FCC that like they have to disclose somewhere in the fine print that a team is either speculated to win or that the players are getting a certain paycheck to throw. Because this is that game. Hey, Kelly Allen, thank you for the big 20 buccarinos from New Zealand. Appreciate you. Thank you. And Mikey Joe 777777 with the 5 subs. Been watching videos every morning on my way to work. Thank you for the great content. You're welcome, Mikey Joe. Good to see you guys. Thank you for the support. And thank you again, Kelly. If you do have a message, please do at me. The topic of tonight's stories are just random. So tonight is bonus content. It's a Western horror. So think Red Dead meets Undead Nightmare, somewhere in between there, if that makes sense, even though they're within the same realm. What console did I have growing up as a kid? Yeah, so my first console was an N64. Or no, actually my first console was a Sega Genesis. And then I got an N64. And I always really wanted a PlayStation, but I don't know. I never had it. Yup, another Sam Riding joint. And then I had a Dreamcast at one point, which was fun because like nobody else really had one. And then in 6th grade, I remember I got an Xbox and got Halo, and that got me all kinds of bricked up. And then I just like slowly accrued each of those consoles. I got a play because like that was like my thing. Was like every Christmas I would get one thing, and it would just be like, you know, I'd be like, it was already like decided before we even reached Christmas. It was like, oh, you want the Xbox this Christmas? Well, then next Christmas you get the PS2. And then the one after that was like the GameCube. And so I really got to experience that like generation of console gaming pretty hardcore. But I would always say that I was like kind of an Xbox fanboy until I realized that PCs are so much better and none of it matters. Favorite games? Oh man, so damn many. All I can say is lately I've just been really enjoying Enlisted. And dude, it's so crazy. It actually blows my mind how like Enlisted is sort of like a not necessarily pay to win game, but there are pay to win aspects to it for sure. But not like as egregious as like some games that are pay to win, like not how it was for Season 8 of Overwatch Malga, where they released the most boring and broken tank of all time and then they went on holiday. But it's so strange like playing Enlisted where there's like really complex like unlock trees and so much different content that you can mess around with as you unlock them, and a lot of like complexity and like huge maps and a ton of things going on screen at once. It's like it's crazy. It's a lot of fun, and you'll get like 100 kill games, and it's freaking nutballs. And then after that I went over and played like one game of Overwatch, and just I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is like fucking Legos, bro. This is like some fucking cheesy little kid nonsense that I was addicted to for so long, and all I needed was a new addiction to replace it. and I suddenly could see it like clear as day. Like, how ridiculous to me is it that they struggled for like years and years as developers to, one, balance the game, and two, make any fucking content for it, when like so many other games are like flooded with like solid content. And maybe it's just like, maybe it's absolute hell to work for Blizzard. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just like impossible to work for Blizzard, find funding for anything, introduce any new ideas. Maybe that's the tough part. But it really it just blows my mind whenever I see a development company for a game like Enlisted versus Overwatch, and just like how, and then in myself I was playing Ana, right? And I was having a crazy good game as Ana, just hitting everything, dominating, you know, topping the leaderboard in the limbs, even though I'm playing support and healing, all that kind of shit. And then you got one player on your team that just absolutely fucking throws, and I just felt the rage boiling up inside of me about how much I hated this game. And then after that game, I just got off. I'm like, whatever, one game is fine to make me realize how much this game is dog shit. And that's pretty much it. That's my Overwatch rant for the day. Top tier yapper right there. Yeah. But it's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. But it's the nice thing about like a game like Enlisted is that it's just chill, you know? You want to win and you're trying your best, but at the same time it's more about like the individual experiences that you have with the game that make it fun. Oh yeah, this is one of those stories that's going to be like in the second person, if you guys remember the last one. That was part of the series of stuff that we were doing. Anakin with the 5 says, Joel, I just wanted to say I appreciate you. I usually watch the streams the day after, so I'm definitely a silent viewer, but you are really the best. Oh, thanks. Appreciate you. Thank you. Do you still have Nickel Arcade where you pay admittance? I don't know if we have any arcades. I don't even know of any arcades about that you would actually pay to play games or anything. I think they have them in like random places like a Walmart or stuff like that, but definitely not any like designated party towns. I found money in a bank envelope. Should I give it to the bank, like if someone is looking for it? You found money in a bank envelope. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, probably got to give it back to them, you know? Unless, I mean, well, I don't know. That is a tough one. If you like really need money, you know, banks have insurance on shit. But at that same time, the bank might have handed them the money, like a grandma or something, and said, here you go for your grandson's big ball removal thing, or so, I don't know. And like, now they're not going to have any money for the ball removal. Huge Mortal Kombat fan, but very disappointed due to the lack of content in Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, sometimes I just think that games like kind of like overcomplicate by like building new engines and stuff, when really they could just like keep the previous engine and then just build upon it, with the fact that their developers are super familiar with the infrastructure and things like that. What was that one game? I feel like it was actually back on the Xbox, but it was like Mortal Kombat. I don't know if it was Armageddon or what it was, but it had so much shit in it. It had like an RPG adventure mode. It had a bunch of like little side mini games, all sorts of stuff. I'm in Georgia. No, I'm in Pennsylvania. I know an idiot, but I'd give back the money without question, then go home and starve. Yeah, and that's fine. Maybe the Lord will remember that, and when you get to heaven, he'll say, ah, shit, we don't have any snacks, sorry. Did you ever play Star Wars Battlefront games? I did in the past. Yeah, they were amazing. I didn't really play the newer ones though, but I watched some people play and it looks sick. I feel like the Star Wars games are the only ones that have really maintained my interest though as far as quality. What do you think about Elden Ring? It's too hard. It's too damn hard. I'm just not really into the Dark Souls type games. I never really was. I try them. I really do. I like their world building. I like their ambiguous story. I like the fact that it doesn't hold your hand. But as far as gaming, and I love the art styles and the monster concepts and all that kind of shit. But as far as gameplay goes, to me, I said it before, it feels very archaic. And because everyone likes it, I don't think they'll ever change or try to get really like... And honestly, I will honestly say that I feel like in a weird way, Dark Souls games, because of how clunky their controls are, yet how successful the games have been, and how many copycats have emerged from that to kind of like, grasp on that market a little bit. It kind of upsets me because I'm like, fuck, dude, we're never going to just like get a notable increase in the overall quality of control in like hack and slash games. Now, that might be kind of oversimplistic calling it like hack and slash. Maybe it's an action RPG or whatever you want to say, but to me it just seems like hack and slash games really could like benefit from some degree of like cool physics involved in their fighting or just something, but because most of it's just sort of like do an animation and does it register damage, and then the concept of like iframes and all that kind of stuff, I'm just like, I guess it is a game overall and that's all it really needs, but it just feels old. Good to see you, Joel, by the way. I kick my ass every day for moving to California from Chicago from that opportunity. Which opportunity was that? You're gonna gnaw on my bed frames for talking trash on Dark Souls. Hey, it's just solely the gameplay is all. Everything else is beautiful. Alright, but we should read stories, right? We should do what I came here to do. Eat ass and chew bubblegum. I'm all out of ass. God of War is hack and slash, but it's way cooler and less frustrating. Yeah, I would say, yeah, and it's interesting because God of War did, in the newer one, sort of pull some concepts from, or, maybe it's just the way the combat is, maybe the way it's the camera's pulled in, but it feels a lot similar to Dark Souls in that sense. I haven't played the newest God of War, but I played through most of the last one before this newest one, and it was okay. It was a little repetitive. Cryptic Chill HQ with the threes, because can you shout out Cryptic Chill HQ on YouTube? I'm going to try to get the channel off the ground and have been working really hard on videos for it. Absolutely, Cryptic Chill HQ, everyone. If you want to check out another channel, go check that out. And give them a subscribe. Thank you, thank you. I was offered the position as character designer for Blizzard for Mortal Kombat. Wait. Blizzard owns Mortal Kombat? I thought it was like WB or something like that. Unless they're doing like a crossover or something, which is cool. Which in that case, wouldn't that be on like an NDA? Yeah, Paul. Oh, now they do. Jesus. I guess because Microsoft or Activision, I don't even know. Like they all get freaking consolidated, and I think that's kind of an overall negative for AAA gaming in general. Is that like all these game studios get consolidated into one to like avoid economic strife, and I feel like you're gonna see a net negative for big time gaming. External from companies like Elden Ring and that kind of thing. Yeah, Paul, you'll have to tag me in some of your animations again. I'd love to check them out. Do I draw? I used to draw when I was younger. I was pretty good at it. And I drew some in college and got better. But then once I started working and then even doing YouTube, I don't know, I kind of got away from like just creating as much as I would like. Hey, Audrey, what's happening? All right. How old am I? I am 33. 34 in June. Morning. When you open your eyes, you see a carpet of lush green grass stretched out before you. The late Texan summer brings blistering heat in the day, and at night, you found more comfort outside in the confines of your stifling canvas tent. The morning air is cool, but it whispers of the warmth to come. There is birdsong, the gentle drone of crickets, and in the distance, sunrise sets wispy clouds aflame with streaks of orange and purple. You are on the western frontiers of the newly reclaimed state of Texas, in a place called Concho County, at a camp that is nestled in the bend of a languidly flowing river. It is beautiful, but as your father has been quick to assure you, it doesn't hold a flame to the paradise that awaits you in the Bay of San Francisco. Exactly 37 days ago, on August 14th of 1868, you and your family set off from your home in Tennessee with dreams of a new start in the promised land of California. You joined your father, mother, and younger sister on a stagecoach which took you from Memphis to Montgomery and eventually to Mobile, Alabama. There you boarded a ship on Mobile, then arrived in the port of Galveston, Texas the following morning. After traveling by train to Harrisburg, you spent your 20th birthday in a small cattle town named Columbus. There, your father presented you with a gift, a Colt Army model revolver that he'd purchased for $14.50 at the Columbus General Store. It lay heavy in your hand as you took it from its case. Then, after a celebratory whiskey at Columbus's Red Elk Saloon, your father explained what the next leg of your journey would entail. Gone would be the comforts of rail cars and steamer cabins. The road ahead would be long, and it would be hard. You'd be traveling by wagon with 2 other families, tracing the path of the Colorado River while making stops at the towns of Austin, Hamilton, and Rochester. Then from there, it was on to Santa Fe, Tucson, and eventually California. It's taken a month, but it's felt like much, much longer, and the days have dragged especially long since you've drawn closer to the border of Indian Territory. The Comanche and their hated rivals, the Apache, will be a constant threat to the wagon train from here on out. But hostile natives constitute just a fraction of the dangers you're set to face. After reaching the end of the Concho River... Oh shit, I gotta make sure I'm saying Concho right. I feel like I may have flarped that up. It's me, ya boy. They consolidate with Microsoft or tell me what you want. I have a degree in fine art. We've got to rediscuss this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to just, see all just check out all your work and all that good stuff. What country would I like to go to? Well, I am going to go to Australia in June. Concho. Okay, so I said that right. What's the name of the story? It's called O Death. The letter O space death. You like the way pugs breathe as they're slowly suffocating inside their own face. I wonder if they can breed pugs to they can rebreed them to breathe better. Bred to breathe. Oh. Bexar is pronounced Bear County. Wow. That's crazy that the X just... It's a silent X. What's my favorite dog breed? I just like big dogs, you know? I mean, all of them are cool, but the little ratty ones I feel like are an acquired taste. You have to be around it long enough to build a bond with it, where I feel like big dogs, I'm just instantly on board. But, I remember, you know, I do really like the Vizsla dog as well. And I had a Doberman growing up that was amazing. And my one buddy had a boxer who was like the sweetest dog of all time. You said it wrong for years. That's funny. Canonymosaurus Rex, take care. Rottweilers. I never had a I don't even know if I've ever gotten to meet a Rottweiler before. Yeah, German Shepherd. Oh man, I always really want like a retired military dog. Have you seen all the Star Wars movies, and which is your favorite? Which is my favorite? I don't know, there's something very whimsical about the prequels, even though some people say they aren't good. Like, I sort of just like enjoy them. I guess maybe because I was younger whenever they came out. But something about their presentation is just very distinct to itself. And overall, though, I feel like I've had more fun experiences with just like the Star Wars games, though. There's something a lot more like earnest to like the nerd lore of Star Wars that can be found in the video games as opposed to Hollywood. Rottweilers, I raised 3 so far. They are adorable and very protective. Oh, that's cute. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Rogue One. Like a lot of, I mean, I would say like it definitely wasn't as bad as the other more modern Star Wars movies, but overall, I kind of just felt like the characters in Rogue One were kind of like boring as fuck, I guess. Like, I don't remember any of the characters in that being very interesting. They might have been to me if they were done over the course of like a trilogy, but you watched Vivarium on my recommendation. We need to talk. Yeah, maybe I just get it wrong. I don't know. But I will say I watched Vivarium kind of on a whim, and I knew nothing about it going in, and I didn't have high expectations or anything like that. But I felt like it kept me interested the whole time as to what was going on in a weird type of way. It certainly wasn't the best movie of all time. We got the story of Han Solo for his backstory. Is that what Rogue One was? I thought Rogue One was the other crew, because then there's Solo. Is the Han Solo movie. Rogue One. After reaching the end of the Concho River, the wagons will have to cross the scrublands of the newly settled Bexar County until you reach the Pecos River, which you'll follow north to Santa Fe. Your father, who has emerged as the de facto leader of the wagon train, assures you that you're tracing the route of the old Butterfield stage line. The route was described as hell by one coachman, but it means that if worse comes to worse, you will winter in New Mexico territory and not among the snowdrifts of the Colorado mountains. As you stretch your limbs, you listen to the sounds of your fellow travelers beginning to stir, But as usual, your father is not among them. Every morning for the past couple of days, your father has awoken before dawn, then headed down to the river with men from the other families to do some early morning fishing. Each wagon is stocked with emergency rations, a month's worth of dried meat, raisins, sugar, and pickles per family. But your family has very wisely and very responsibly chosen to extend those rations by indulging in one of his much-loved pastimes. "Morning, honey," you hear your mother... Oh, that's a woman's voice. "Morning, honey," you hear your mother say, as she emerges from the tent your parents share. Your younger sister is soon to follow, although the greeting she gives you is far less enthusiastic. You slide on your boots before finding your feet, quietly yawning as you wander over to your family's wagon. You grab the previous day's water bucket, then start walking off in the direction of the river before your mother has a chance to ask you to fill it up. "Attaboy," she says with pride. "And go fetch your father while you're at it. I won't have him skipping breakfast again." Your mother, albeit very lovingly, talks of your father as if he's a child, one who'd rather engage in fleeting pleasures as opposed to servicing his own well-being. But the truth is, he's a man who'd rather go hungry and feed his children than help himself to bacon and biscuits. The river is a great gray-green leviathan that slithers silently across the landscape, hemmed by cattail and water willow. It has been a vital lifeline over the past week, and its convenience has made you dread the more arid stretches of your journey towards California. You walk along the bank, still adjusting to the morning light, until you come across a group of 3 men sitting idly on the riverbank. A smallmouth bass lies gasping in the grass next to them, doomed to play the center stage in today's lunch. Your father sits smugly nearby and waves away your suggestion that he join your mother back at the camp. "She doesn't need me back there," he says. "She just knows I make better Wait. Leviathans are gooning. Hell yeah, dude. Solo, a Star Wars story. It's called just a backstory for the smuggler. Yeah, no, for sure. I can hear him, but how loud is his volume? Is it good, not good? I feel like it's pretty up there, because it's hitting the yellow. The yeller. Jar Jar was the trickster, evil jester, fooling everyone, convinced Queen to go to war. And everyone even says her actions make no sense. Jar Jar's theory is not a joke. I so wish George went through with it. I know, it's kind of weird that he didn't, you know? It's weird that they even listen to, like, test groups or whatever. Welcome back, Rebecca. Good to see you. It has been a long time. Time flies. Don't think you're repeating these stories. Sadly, my other horror narrator listened to rarely. Well, you'll probably hear a lot of repeats in my compilation videos, like Monday's videos, a compilation video, and you'll probably hear repeats in those where it's like remastered audio from previous stuff. I can't tell who he's talking to right here. She doesn't need me back there, he says. She just knows make better coffee. She doesn't need me back there. Motherfucker. She doesn't need me back there, he says. She just knows I make better coffee than she does. The other men smirk as he offers you the rod. I should have taught you when you were a boy, but now's as good a time as any. As you take hold of the rod's handle, your father begins to talk you through the basics of reeling in a fish, but as you turn your head to give him a glance of acknowledgement, something catches your eye. The landscape of the West Texas plateaus is radically different than that of your native Tennessee. You grew up among rolling hills and pine forests, where enclaved Allegheny mountain towns, Allegheny, You grew up among rolling hills and pine forests where enclaved Allegheny mountain towns lay hidden and undisturbed for weeks at a time. But out here, on the very frontiers of civilization, you can see so far into the distance that it's enough to make you feel dizzy. It's like the plains themselves are wrapping around the sky, which makes it all the easier to see the small but distinct shape of a group of riders galloping toward you. The others follow your stare, yet their eyes are not as sharp as yours. They don't see it right away. You all watch for another moment or two, the dust trail pluming behind them until the soft thunder of hooves creeps into the air. "Who is it?" one of the men asks. "I don't know," your father says. "Is it Comanche?" the other asks. But no one dares respond. The word itself means certain death. As the hooves get louder and the tiny specks of horses and men become horribly discernible, one of your traveling companions picks up his Henry repeater and loads a bullet into the chamber with a mechanical double click. The other pulls his revolver from his gun belt, blindly cocking the hammer as he keeps his eyes fixed on the distant horseman. Your father does the same, but when you join him, pulling your gun from its holster with an increasingly shaky hand, he shoots you an angry look. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he shouts, cutting you off before you can respond. "Go tell them girls to hide. You keep that gun ready, but you get the girls to safety, goddammit." You take a few steps backward, eyes still fixed on the approaching horseman. The indistinct blur of dust and snorting stallions has broken into a dozen armed riders, each bearing down on you with ferocious speed. You're still taking tender backward steps as the first shot rings out. A bullet kicks up grass and dirt near the feet of the rifleman, who recoils and returns fire. The sound of hooves is almost deafening now, somehow louder than the crack of rifle and revolver fire. But cutting above all of it is the voice of your father. "Go!" he barks. "Run!" You turn, boots pounding against the dirt as you take off at a wild sprint, and the sound of your heartbeat in your ears joins the cacophony of violence that unfolds behind you. A bullet whizzes past your head, so close you can almost feel it. The sensation precedes a sudden scream that cuts through the gunfire like a knife slicing into warm flesh. You dare not look back, so you keep running, terror and adrenaline cursing, fuck. Hey, Stephanie Willing went back for 17 months. Says, "Hi, Joe, I hope you're well. Jacob and I are going to our North Carolina mountain home for our vacation. I'm looking forward to it." You rock. Nice, dude. Have fun. You dare not look back, so you keep on running, terror and adrenaline coursing through your veins. When you arrive back at camp, the others have already heard the gunfire. The women and children run to and fro, grabbing dried food and canteens of water. Among the other wagons, an older man loads a break-barrel shotgun in preparation to defend himself, his face a twisted mask of terror. "Where's your father?" your mother asks, but the look in your eyes tells her everything. You turn, breathlessly pointing towards the river, but your eyes are greeted by a sight so awful that it turns your blood to ice. The riders are upon you already, and they have they are lost in a frenzy of bloodlust. As one of the attackers veers towards you and your family, you raise your revolver, lining him up in its sight. The rider is fast, both in horse and in hand, yet despite beating you to the shot, he's firing at a full gallop. He does not have your control, nor your stability. Your father may have neglected to teach you to fish, but he did not neglect to teach you to shoot. In the split second after you pull the Colt's trigger, an explosive chemical reaction sends an inch-long chunk of lead tearing through the rider's shoulder at almost 1,000 feet per second. The sheer force of it sends him rolling backwards out of his saddle, his feet flying free from the stirrups before he lands with a sickening crunch. You take a few steps towards him as he lies face down, groaning and struggling among the blood. Aw, yeah. Joel's stamina is maxed out. Yeah, I don't know why. This one is just flowing really well, which is nice. It might just be the way that it's like formatted. Sometimes whenever I have a little bit more space between the words and paragraphs and stuff, it seems easier to read. You take a few steps towards him as he lies face down, groaning and struggling among the blood-streaked grass. You place a trembling thumb upon the hammer of your revolver, cocking it as you close the distance between yourself and your would-be killer. There are only 5 bullets left in the cylinder. You must make them count, and you must not miss. The rider looks up, blood and spittle dripping from his mouth in long, syrupy strands. He is long-haired, unwashed, and there is murder in his eyes. You try to place the sights of your revolver between them, but as your finger finds the trigger, you feel a sharp pain flash through the back of your head, and you are no longer on your feet. It is your turn to lie helpless among the grass, craning your neck trying to blink the blood out of your eyes so you can witness your entire world being burned to ashes. The riders have killed the shotgun-toting older man who lies dead next to his wagon with a hole in his throat. One of the other group's women tries to pry the shotgun from his hand in turn. One of the other group's women tries to pry the shotgun from his hands and is shot in turn. Some of the riders begin to dismount, corralling the surviving women and children into a tight grouping near one of the campfires. You try to find your feet, try to aim your gun at the dismounted man. Bonus content like for the stream? No, bonus content, there's for members, that join button. When you click that big join button, you'll get access to bonus content in the bonus content playlist, along with all sorts of cool emojis for the chat. I mean, there's over 20 videos now, which is pretty sweet. We've been at it for a while. Some of the riders begin to dismount, corralling the surviving women and children into a tight grouping near one of the campfires. You try to find your feet, try to aim your gun at the dismounted men, but a sudden shot sends a bullet tearing through your gut and sends you sprawling back into the dirt. "Stop playing with the little bastard," you hear a gruff stranger yell. "That son of a bitch broke my arm." "And I broke his skull," you hear another hiss, much closer to you. You try to raise your Colt again, but the man with the serpent's voice brings a boot down on your hand. You feel bones break under the heel and cry out in pain as the revolver is torn from your grip. Through blurry vision, you catch a glimpse of the man who broke your skull. He appears as a black-clad nightmare, war club in one hand, six-shooter in the other. He slides the gun back on his holster and then produces a knife, grinning as he steps towards you. "Take his fucking heart, Danny," the gruff stranger growls, pain saturating his voice. "I want to eat it. I want to eat it right out of his fucking chest. That dirty, no-good, rotten son of a bitch. I'll take his fucking balls, too," the man hisses, but is suddenly interrupted by the approach of another. "You'll do no such thing." You turn your head, feeling an unnatural pressure behind one of your eyes. The man who has prevented your castration wears far finer clothing than the bandits under his command including an unblemished green felt jacket and a slouch cavalryman hat. Can't even cavalryman's. And a slouch cavalryman's hat with a single golden star embroidered on the underside of its upturned brim. His hair sits just above his shoulders, while his mustache and beard are well trimmed, and he sits atop a fine-looking silver dapple Morgan. Holy fuck. There are a lot of words in this that I do not know. I don't even remember what voice I did for the will do no such thing. The main character is safe. Yes. Thank the Lord. His hair sits just above his shoulders, while his mustache and beard are well trimmed, and he sits atop a fine-looking silver dapple Morgan. Can't you see this young vagabond has suffered enough? He asks, in his polished Missouri. Okay, see, it took the fuck, man. Whenever you have to like find a voice for somebody and then it tells you what that voice is, like 2 paragraphs later, it's annoying as fuck. I don't even know what Missouri sounds like. That doesn't sound like an accent. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to... Sorry, I'm just trying to listen. I don't even know. Farty fire. I don't even know. Anybody know how the fuck this, like, who'd even look up that sounds Missourian? Making Super Bowl chili and nachos. Nice, that sounds amazing. Have you heard of Ultraman, not the DC villain? I don't think so. Is that anime? Make a note of the accent next to each other's paragraph. Yeah, I mean, I'll just have to remember. There's in Kansas City and Missouri. I think so, yeah. Look up one of those places. That's a good idea. Kansas City accent. I don't know, dude. I don't think you will. Maybe we'll do that one. I don't fucking know. You will do no such thing. Something like that. I don't fucking know. You will do no such thing. You turn your head, feeling an unnatural pressure behind one of your eyes. The man who has prevented your castration wears far finer clothing than the bandits under his command, including an unblemished green felt jacket and a slouched cavalryman's hat with a single golden star embroidered on the underside of its... Holy fuck, that's a whole sentence. Jesus. Sound like, yeah, DiCaprio and Django. The man who has prevented your castration wears a far finer... Yeah. Oh my God. The man who has prevented your castration wears far finer clothing than the bandits under his command, including an unblemished green felt jacket and a slouched cavalryman's hat with a single golden star embroidered on the underside of its upturned brim. His hair sits just above his shoulders, while his mustache and beard are well trimmed, and he sits atop a fine-looking silver dapple Morgan. "Can't you see this young vagabond has suffered enough?" he asks, in his polished Missouri drawl. "If we cannot conduct ourselves as gentlemen, even in times of conflict, then we have no more right to inherit this fair land as the godless heathens we seek to liberate it from." The black-clad man remains silent, his deference clear for all deference? Deference? Was that leadership, or is that... Deference, okay. Do I ever lose my voice? Not too much. After, reading this, which will probably take, 3 hours, even though we're actually 3 hours. 2.5. My voice will get a little, dry, I guess, but as long as I don't push it too far. The black-clad man remains silent, his deference clear for all to see. "You have bested your foe, and if circumstances do permit the taking of prisoners, then you must deliver the coup de grace with all the magnanimity..." Jesus Christ. Magnanimity? Magnanimity. Magnanimity. Magnanimity-do. "You have bested your foe, and if circumstances do permit the taking of prisoners, then you must deliver the coup de grace with all the magnanimity of its namesake. With grace, sir, with grace." The black-clad man cocks his head, his master's words lost on him. The well-dressed man sighs. "How I long..." Okay, I can't... Man, I wish there was, color coding. I can't fucking tell who's about to speak. Fuck. "How I long for the company of educated men," he mutters towards the heavens before readdressing his black-clad adherent. Adherent? What? Before readdressing his black-clad... Okay. He mutters towards the heavens before Why today and not tomorrow? 'Cause Super Bowl. He mutters towards the heavens before readdressing his black-clad adherent. "Cut his throat," Oh. God damn it, I can't tell who's about to talk here. "Cut his throat," he says, "and be done with it." The man with the snake's voice grins. He stoops over, grabs a fistful of your hair, then jerks your head back so hard you can barely breathe. With this one fluid motion, he draws the blade of his knife across your throat, unleashing a torrent of hot blood onto the grass and soil beneath you. You had once believed a man whose throat had been cut experiences a quick and painless death, but you were foolish to seek comfort in falsehood. Death is agony. Blood cascades into your lungs, triggly puff. Blood cascades into your lungs, triggering gargling coughs and futile gasps for air. Some of the dismounted riders gather to watch you die. Others ensure the womenfolk remain corralled. As you begin to feel lightheaded, you suddenly hear the ear-splitting sound of your mother screaming out your name. She tries to run to you, but a rider intercepts her, then hurls her back in with the rest of their captives. The sound of her voice sends a few final surges of adrenaline through you, but as you shoot the well-groomed rider a look of gaunt contempt, he merely smiles. "Tough little bastard, aren't you?" he remarks, taking a large, ornately decorated pistol from his belt. Wait, who are we talking? God damn it. I can't keep track of who the fuck is talking. Can I do Peter Griffin? Tough little bastard, aren't you? The sound of her voice sends a few final surges of adrenaline through you. But as you shoot the well-groomed rider... Okay, that's who we're talking about, my bad. The sound of her voice sends a few final surges of adrenaline through you. But as you shoot the well-groomed rider... But as you shoot the well-groomed rider a look of gaunt contempt, he merely smiles. "Tough little bastard, aren't you?" he remarks, taking a large, ornately decorated pistol from his gun belt. "I knew a man like you when I rode with Quantrill," he says, the sound of burning wagon wood crackling behind his voice. "He died hard too, and you'd have made a fine rider, just not in this life." He raises his revolver. You hear the crack, and then there is nothing. Part 2. You are lost, drowned in the endless void, drifting in dreamless sleep. Then, rising from the abyss, comes a singular, ageless voice. "Awake, O sleeper." That didn't sound right. Tiffany Williams with the 10 says, "Say hello to my boyfriend David, daughters Mackenzie and Kennedy, who are new listeners, please." Hello, David and Mackenzie and Kennedy. Hello, guys. Thanks for being here. And thank you for the 10. Tiffany, appreciate you. Hope you guys are having an awesome night. And Tiffany, thank you for the gifted membership to Shell. Welcome, Shell. Thank you again, Tiffany. Anybody? Yeah, I talked about the Super Bowl. Anybody watching the Puppy Bowl? Yes, did you press the like button and like it at the same time? You can't press the like button unless you truly like something. Then, rising from the abyss, comes a singular, ageless voice. "Awake, O sleeper." The voice echoes in your ears as you expel... I gotta say that cooler, I feel like. "Awake, O sleeper." I don't know. "Awake, O sleeper." The voice echoes in your ears as you expel clots of blood from your windpipe. You taste them, viscous and coppery, as you fill your lungs with air again in one single excruciating gasp. Then you hear the voice once more, and arise from the dead. When you open your eyes, the vision in your left eye is milky, and your right is sealed shut by dried blood. You push yourself to your knees, wiping at it before blinking away the grime. You can see, but in that moment you would rather be blind. The scene that greets you is one of harrowing, stomach-churning... Oh, my voice cracked like a little baby. Any wacky Super Bowl predictions? Just that Taylor Swift's entire luxury viewing suite will probably be blown up by C4. No, I'm sorry. Just kidding. I think the Chiefs will win and everyone will say blah, blah, blah. It was rigged. and no one will care the next day. This is a zombie-like story. I think so. I think he is back from the dread. The scene that greets you is one of harrowing, stomach-churning carnage. The corpses of those you were traveling with are strewn around the campsite. They lie mangled and mutilated, faces frozen in terrified anguish. Some have been scalped, others disemboweled. Most have been violated. Smoke rises from the smoldering remains of the wagons, with charred fetal bodies lying in their open compartments. You stagger around, utterly bewildered, seeing no other signs of life, and in the field by the riverbank where you fished with your father only a few hours before, there lie 4 more bodies. 2 of them belong to your traveling companions, the men who had put up a valiant but brief and ultimately futile effort to stop the riders in their tracks. 1 belongs to one of the riders, caught at close range, falling from his horse, but the 4th and final body belongs to your father. As you contemplate the senselessness and finality of the disaster that lies before you, you raise a single hand to your head to assess your wounds. There is a sickeningly flexible dent in the rear of your skull, the result of a blow from the rider's war club. But far worse than the fracture is the gunshot wound present just above your left temple. You bring another hand to your right cheek and realize that the bullet's exit wound has torn off a large section of flesh after smashing through your teeth. But there's no fracture here, only pain and raw meat. It seems impossible that you're still alive. You feel mere minutes away from losing consciousness again, and if one of the raiders hadn't stolen your new Colt, there's a chance that you might take your own life right there and then. But all it takes... Sorry, I threw up. But all it takes is one last look at the piles of bodies, and you know what you must do, or rather, what you mustn't allow to happen. If you pass out and bleed to death before burying the remains of your traveling companions, they'll be carved up and consumed by coyotes and crows. They'll be desecrated, bones picked clean, before the Comanche arrive to take their skulls as trophies. You drag yourself over to the piles of desecrated bodies, tearing off your bloodied overshirt to wrap around your head. Stemming the trickle of blood from the cracks and broken clots may keep you alive for a little while longer, long enough to dig the graves. The riders stole a great deal from your camp, but unfortunately, they did not steal the pick and shovel from your wagon. Slamming the shovel blade into the earth sends white-hot shocks of pain through your body with each repetition, but you do not relent. You dig and dig and dig, as the sky turns the color of ash and the smell of smoke fills your nostrils. You have not yet begun to sort through the butchered remains of your companions and loved ones. You cannot do it alone, and yet you must. There is no alternative. There is only you. So you continue to dig for what feels like hours. You dig until your hands are raw and the half-charred handle is soaked in your blood. You dig until you are waist-deep in soil, but you still are not exhausted. You do not cease until you detect the sounds of hooves in the distance, getting louder with each passing second, a sound which heralds your salvation or your doom. You step out of... Okay. Feels like an RPG. Yeah, it's like second person, which kind of feels like a game. Sound amazing in the Bluetooth car stereo. Hell yeah, dude. What's up, Lucas? Shout out to you, dog. But you can't get a reservation at Dorsia, Patrick. Just watch me. You step out of the mass grave, shovel in hand, prepared to meet these new strangers head on. They will not take the bodies. They will not help themselves to what little you have left. Teeth and bones are not just of use to the Comanche or Apache. A severed head preserved in whiskey will fetch a fine price among the right market. But not your mother's, nor your sister's, nor your father's. Their remains will be interned in earth, untouched until the day of judgment, just as God intended. That, or you will expend what little vitality you have. Oh my God. You got 6 inches. We did get like a weather warning around here, I thought. Even though it was really warm recently. Oh. That's weird. Winter storm watch. Alright. And interesting. Their remains will be interred in earth, untouched until the day of judgment, just as God intended. That, or you will expend what little vitality you have left in the attempt. But the men who approach are not bandits or hostiles. They do not fire at you as they approach. Instead, the group of 5 unidentified horsemen simply come to a stop ahead of the pit you've excavated and survey the scene behind you with horror. You the survivor? One asks, and you only nod in response. Jesus Christ, he's all torn up, the man says, before calling out to another with an authoritative air. Jackson! Yes, sir. A younger voice calls out in reply. Get this man to Chadbourne. If he survives the ride, you take him to the doctor. The boyish-looking rider taps his heels against his horse's flanks. Sending it trotting a few steps forward. He nods to the spot behind him, offering you the seat, but you shake your head. You need the doctor. You'll die without him, but there was work to be done. You turn to step back into the grave, but the group's leader speaks out. Hey, don't worry about this mess here, he says. My boys will see to it that your people are put to rest. Don't worry about this mess here, he says. My boys will see it that your people are put to rest. They're a ragtag bunch, men born of the wild frontier, but there is a humanity about them. They'd want you to carry on. Wherever they are, they're willing you carry on for them, the leader says. Now, are you going to carry on for them, or are you going to lie down in that pit and join them? You drop the shovel. Thought so, he says. Now, mount up. As you cling to the boyish rider in front of you, every quadruple beat of his horse's gallop sends jolts of agony through your broken body. It seems impossible that you'll survive the ride, and at any second you expect your consciousness to begin slipping away from you. Yet it doesn't. Your eyes remain open, and within the hour, they catch a glimpse of a large palisade fort in the distance. Almost there, the rider says. Hang in there, partner. You say nothing in response. You simply hold on a little tighter as he propels his mount toward. It sounded weird. You say nothing in response. You simply hold on a little tighter as he propels his mount towards the fort's open gate. Minutes later, he tears through it at breakneck speed, as blue-coated soldiers begin walking out to greet the commotion. "Tell the doc we got a bad one here," the rider yells as he brings his horse to a stop. A trio of soldiers come forward to pull you from the horse, lower you onto a stretcher, then rush you towards a small, whitewashed shack on the edge of the parade square. Lying on the stretcher is almost a relief after such a long ride, but it restricts your perspective as you're carried into the medical station. The doctor, having heard the cries for his assistance, is ready for you in practice, but not in spirit. A balding man with a thick iron-gray paintbrush mustache peers over you after halting the two soldiers on either side of the stretcher. "Christ almighty," he says. "Get him on the table." I don't even know what fucking stupid voice to do for this person. Older, balding man with a thick iron-gray paintbrush mustache. Just go to Red Dead characters and find them. Hold my nose and go, "Oh my god, oh my god." It doesn't sound disgusting. What does my family think of me doing YouTube? They're happy with it, you know? They're like, if it pays your bills, do it up. Sam Elliott. Yeah, Sam Elliott is kind of like always in a slow, I feel like, presentation. What about old blind man Cassidy? Hi, I'm just a blind man. I don't know. Christ almighty. That sounds so bad. Christ almighty, he says. Get him on the table. The stretcher shifts again, then the soldiers carefully lay you onto an uncomfortable wooden service. Which one of you fucking jackasses wrapped this man's head up? He asked the two men who'd carried you in. He came in like that, Doc, I swear. One replies. The doctor offers no response. Instead, he takes one of your forearms, flips it over, and finds a vein at the crook of your elbow. At the crook. The doctor offers no response. Instead, he takes one of your forearms, flips it over, and finds a vein at the crook of your elbow. Then, in an action so practiced that it occurs with almost mechanical precision, the doctor slides the needle of a long syringe into your arm and your pain begins to subside. Once you're comfortably numb, the doctor begins peeling back the gore-encrusted shirt from your half-shattered skull. As he peels back the section which covers the gaping hole in your cheek, you do not see the soldier's reactions. Oh, I accidentally clicked. Hey, Tanita, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Andrew Batts with the 2 says he's also the barkeep, barber, and stable master. Wait, what are we talking about? Elbow Crocs. I thought the YouTubing thing as a career is acceptable now. Yeah, I mean, like every kid, you know, wants to do YouTube. I don't even know if kids look up to actors anymore. They look up to their favorite poop tuber. Their favorite slime tuber who plays with slime all day. As he peels back the section which covers the gaping hole in your cheek, you do not see the soldier's reactions, but you hear them. "Oh my good God," one says. The other remains silent, but clamps a hand over his open mouth. The doctor knows the human body inside and out, and has seen a countless. The doctor knows the human body inside and out, and has seen countless fatal and near-fatal injuries, yet he too has a look of horror about him as he looks over your wounds. He peers into the hole in your skull, takes note of the fracture to its rear, and observes the dark clots of blood which cake the slash across your throat. "Are you awake?" the doctor asks you. You give a weak nod in response. "Can you talk?" Your silence is his answer. "Okay, listen to me." I don't even know how to do that. Oh my God, I don't know a casual conversational voice as this guy. I don't even know. "Okay, listen to me," he says. "I'll give you some morphine for the pain, but I need to plug that hole in your skull. I got to bandage the head up and the face up and then your neck, and that's the full extent of it. Some of it's going to feel unpleasant, but you keep as calm as possible and we'll both get through this together, all right?" You give another weak nod, and then the doctor begins his work. The plugs, I don't know, dude. I'm not in the mood to even do any of the fucking voices. It's just like fucking annoying. It's so hard to keep track of all of it, you know? Even though there's been like 2 people. I just don't know what stupid fucking voice to do for this guy. And I'll do it one paragraph and then completely fucking forget. Too deep now. He plugs the small entry wound above your left temple with a substance known as bone wax. It's a temporary treatment, but one that will not cause a debilitating buildup of pressure on your brain. And next he applies bone splints to the rear of your skull before wrapping recycled off-white bandages around your head and throat. Then, with the help of one of the soldiers, the doctor patches up the small gunshot wound to your back, then begins stitching up the much larger wound to your front. You begin to wince again, but a second injection of morphine supplants. You begin to wince again, but a second injection of morphine supplants the stabs of pain with a warm tingle. Once the doctor has all your wounds sufficiently bandaged, he begins measuring your vital signs. He uses a crude sphygmograph. What even is this stupid word? Sphygmograph. It's literally pronounced sphygmograph. What the hell? Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Sphygmograph, okay. He uses a crude sphygmograph to gauge your blood pressure, then places the tips of a stethoscope into his ears. It's so annoying. I was like cruising so fucking well, and then I just like lose whatever Guitar Hero bonus multiplier I had going there. He uses a crude sphygmograph to gauge your blood pressure, then places the tips of a stethoscope into his ears and rests the bell over your heart. He squints for a moment, listening intently, then grabs hold of your wrist and forces his thumb onto the delta of blue blood vessels. Another look of horror comes over his face, comparable to the one he'd showed you when he first peeled away your improvised bandages. Yet this one has a distinct air of consternation to it. The doctor turns to the one remaining soldier. "Please vacate the surgery, Corporal," he says. "I require a moment alone with the patient." "Sure, Doc," the soldier says with utmost reverence. You hear his steps, then the sound of the door closing behind him. The doctor turns back to you, then drags a chair over towards the gore-drenched operating table. He takes a seat, sighs, then begins to address you. "Can you hear me all right?" he asks, and you respond with a nod. "Good, because you need to hear this," he says, before drawing his chair a little closer. "Your wounds are gravely severe, and I do not expect you to survive them," he says, a slight tremor to his voice. "Your blood pressure and heart rate are well below the healthy ranges, and frankly, you should not be conscious right now, let alone in possession of a pulse. And yet, you are. I've treated hundreds, if not thousands, of men at Sabine Pass, Mansfield, and Palmito Ranch, but to name a few, I've treated men in comatose states whose hearts beat faster than yours, men whose wounds were only half as life-threatening, and they passed within minutes of being on my table. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?" You return another nod. "But you see that, my friend, in your condition is a medical impossibility," the doctor says, physically trembling now, with a sheen of forehead sweat glinting on a shaft of late afternoon summer. "The path that bullet took through your skull has no doubt caused catastrophic damage to the part of your brain we call the frontal lobe. And you shouldn't even be able to acknowledge my presence right now, let alone muster a response. Here you are, defiant in the face of all my acclimated experience." It's not entirely clear what the doctor is trying to tell you, but he soon detects a look of confusion in your eyes. "What I'm trying to say is, medically speaking, you should be dead. In fact, you're just about as close to dead as it is possible to be. But somehow, you're not. And that don't make a lick of sense. Not one lick." The doctor takes a handkerchief from his pocket and uses it to wipe the perspiration from his brow. It is clearly struggling with the... He is clearly struggling with the evidence of his own eyes, and you can't blame him. But it's not the lingering idea that you should be dead that plagues you. It's the faint, unacknowledgeable prospect that you were dead, and that something has brought you back. Part 3. The doctor rises from his chair, walks over to his desk, and pulls out a half-empty bottle of whiskey from one of its bottom drawers. After uncorking it and taking a healthy pull from the bottle's neck, the doctor returns to the drawer, then makes his way over to his table of instruments. "I will administer an injection of saline to prevent you from becoming dehydrated," he says before asking, "Are you still suffering from any pain?" You give a weak shake of the head. You will again, no doubt, he says, turning back to his table. The only thing I have plenty of is morphine, so it will not be for relief. Fuck. The one thing I have plenty of is morphine, so you will not want for relief. But there is something I must ask you in return. You fix your gaze on him before he continues. I'd like to ask you on how you came about your wounds. The circumstances, I mean. Are you able to write? You're weak, but you are capable, and you return a nod. Then if it doesn't trouble you, I would like to recount your experience. I would usually allow a patient to rest in recuperation at present. But I think we both agree that these are not usual circumstances. After providing you with an injection of saline, the doctor instructs you to roll onto your left side. Then, following the provision of a pencil and a sheet of paper, he asks you again to recall the circumstances of your wounds. In your opiate-addled state, even the small wooden pencil the doctor gives you feels warm to the touch, and with a lack of emotion that takes you rather by surprise, you put tip to paper and begin your description of the day's events. Wagon train, headed out west, you write. Rioters, bandits, killed my family. May they rest in peace. May they rest in peace, the doctor remarks. Cut my throat, you scribble. Shot me twice. Woke up. Tried to bury the... Yeah, my voice is fucked right now. I'm a little annoyed with myself because I don't really feel like the doctor's voice has been consistent from the beginning. But it is what it is. I'm really not going to go back and I don't really have a way of going back and really checking it unless... That's why sometimes I should go into it with a person, a voice that I know, or at least am familiar with, selected. So it's just a lot easier to recollect that person. Cut my throat, you scribble. Shot me twice. Woke up. Tried to bury the dead, but here now. You mean to tell me that you had the wherewithal to dig a grave after you just woke up from being shot in the head? Had to bury them. Had to try, you write. The words don't come so easy anymore, and the doctor sighs. I understand, he says. But when you woke up, you didn't have trouble seeing or breathing or walking? You shake your head. Left eye cloudy, lots of pain. And you were the only survivor, you're certain of that? The doctor asks. That there's no one who might have revived you in some capacity? You shake your head, then are given pause for thought. No, you begin writing. Hesitate for a moment, then continue. No survivors. But I heard a voice. You heard a voice? The doctor asks, now a different kind of intrigued altogether. Can you remember what this voice said? Your fingers begin to shake. It takes a conscious effort to write the words. Awake, O sleeper, you write, and rise from the dead. The doctor returns to his chair, his face a picture of solemn dismay. He chooses his words carefully, then speaks with precision. I am, he begins, sounding out every syllable, a man of science. What we are seeing here today must be some kind of previously unencountered medical anomaly. human corpus isn't often capable... The human corpus is often capable of some very strange things. Not as wildly illogical as this, of course, but they are indeed natural occurrences. If you were to ask me, he continues, I would suggest this is one of those. An entirely natural occurrence. Those who suffer injuries to the brain often suffer from hallucinations, both visual and auditory. But if you were to ask my late mother, who talked more in Bible verses than she did her own voice... The doctor cut himself off. He doesn't dare finish the thought. Those men out there, he says, pointing off toward the parade square and the soldiers beyond. They can't know about this, you hear me? They won't understand. Hell, I don't understand it myself yet, but I will. By God, I will. And that, sir, is where I have a proposition for you. The doctor gets up from his chair, turns the pencil and paper toward you again, and then asks, if you should survive your convalescence and your wounds sufficiently heal, he begins, do you have any plans for where you might go or what you might do? You need no time to think. Find them, you write. Find them. Kill them. Kill them all. Revenge. 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 The final few letters are scratched onto the page with such force that it tears the paper. Might I suggest that, if it is revenge you seek, you dig 2 graves, the doctor remarks. But all the same, I understand that you feel duty-bound to seek satisfaction. But if you do seek it, I ask only that you allow me the honor of joining you in your search. You are halfway to scratching out why when the doctor interjects. You, my friend, the doctor says, almost indignant in his tone, are a subject of great interest, not just to me, but of the entire medical establishment. I will not impede your decision, nor your progress, but I must observe you. I must. He sounds frantic now. If I had in my possession the secret of your continued survival in my time of service, then I could have saved countless lives. Countless! He barks. So you must excuse my excitement, sir. But I must insist. You raise a hand as if to calm him, and he wipes some spittle from his lips. Despite being gray and balding, the doctor is stick-thin and has a frighteningly intense... I say, boy, I say. Do you do a proof listen? No. You mean you're going to Disneyland? Ooh-wee. Sound like Foghorn Leghorn. Whatever the fuck ever, dude. I don't care anymore. Despite being gray and balding, the doctor is stick-thin and has a frightening intensity to him like a tightly wound spring. You wave a finger between you, then cross your index under your middle. You, me, together, the gesture says, and the doctor returns a smile. Good. Then we'll depart tomorrow morning, he says. You shake your head, then clutching your right side as a twinge of pain returns, you sit yourself upright and hop down off the table.
You're in no fit state to be traveling, the doctor remarks. You need to change. You need a change of clothes, and I assume you're meant without a means of transportation. I am capable of arranging both, but in the meantime, you must promise to at least try to rest.
With that, the doctor departs, and you left to your own devices for a brief spell. You scan the table on which the doctor's surgical tools lay. They're jagged, vicious-looking things, but sitting next to them is a well-worn head mirror. When you catch a glimpse of your own reflection, you are quietly horrified by the sight of the figure staring back at you. Your skull is almost completely covered by those off-white bandages, which now sport disgusting patches of rust-colored gore. But it is your eyes which distress you the most. They are ringed with blue-black circles, and the left is completely shot with blood. Your appearance is now nothing short of monstrous, yet the blanket of opioid apathy prevents a complete psychological breakdown. The doctor's return interrupts the study of your hideous new appearance.
I managed to requisition some fresh clothes for you,
he says, with the bundle plain to see in his grasp.
They're military surplus, but I can assure you that no one has expired in them.
He tosses them onto the chair he previously sat on, then gives you the privacy of his medical screen so you may dress yourself with dignity.
I spoke to the soldier you brought in. Fuck. I spoke with the soldier who brought you in, the young private on the bay mare.
The doctor says from behind the screen.
He theorized that from the spot you and your wagon train were ambushed, there's only one direction a group of bandits like that would have traveled. You got Comanche territory in the north, Fort Worth in the east, and us here at Fort Chadbourne to the west.
He explains.
Meaning that if a person was so inclined to avoid the law or the army, they'd have headed southwest towards the Apache Mountains. But then, since no one in the right mind would want to stick around there for too long, and assuming they didn't ride down into Mexico, they'd have turned northward towards Santa Fe. Now, obviously, this is all pure conjecture on my part, the doctor continues. But if it is a guess, then it is an educated one. And if we do not have any luck around Albuquerque or Santa Fe, then I imagine we'll not have any luck at all. There's also a group of army couriers who ride between here and Santa Fe by night. They depart in a few hours, and if you're well enough, I suggest we ride with them. It'll be safer than traveling alone by day, and although sundown around here brings a whole host of other dangers, hostiles being not one of them.
You step out from behind the screen in your fresh clothes. The doctor regards you with a nervous look.
The question of how you are on your feet is one that chills my blood,
he says.
Well, seeing as the stable has a spare horse you can borrow, I'll have my answer sooner rather than later. Are you ready to ride?
You nod.
Good. Then let's be on our way.
Oh, well, that confuses the shit out of me. This is part 2, chapter 1, but I called all the other parts part 1 and 2. Is there another word for part? Act 2. We'll call it Act 2. Act 2, part 1. The voice is terrible. Dude, I don't know what to do, dude. I like had it. I don't know, man. I didn't figure out like a character at the beginning to emulate, so it's kind of just some stupid fucking thing. And now I'm like dick deep in it, and I can't do anything to go back. The southern voice with a butt plug in it. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's good. All right, we good. We Gucci. It's not Hollywood, but it's definitely all right for bonus content on a YouTube channel. It's fine. That'd be so funny. That's the review. That's the review of like somebody's like movie. It's fine. All right. See you later. Nutty professor vibe. Hercules. Yeah, it's good to see you, Weston. What's poppin', dude? Welcome back. Use the TikTok voice. Good. Then let's be on our way. Creepy Southern Civil War doctor voice. Does it feel like that though? And has it felt consistent? That's my question. Does it like feel? I guess it doesn't really matter what anybody says at this point because we're kind of just in it, you know? Just chilling. Nice. It's good to chill. Act 2, Part 1. Under a cloudless sky, the journey towards New Mexico takes you into the path of the setting sun. You ride atop a gray saddlebred, one that the soldiers at Fort Chadbourne had taken to calling Ghost. He is a magnificent horse, with a flowing ebony mane and sleek silver cope. Fart 1. Fart 1, calling in. Fart 1, go. Yeah, I smell something real stinky out here. Only 377. Yeah, I think because I named it bonus content and that doesn't like... I should have just called it scary story. Or something. I don't know. It doesn't draw in like randoms. Wonder if I can rename. Can I rename the stream? It doesn't matter. He is a magnificent horse with a flowing ebony mane and sleek silver coat, but the scent of blood on you agitated him at first, and he took a moment or two before he was calm enough to mount. In the company of the army couriers, you follow the course of the Colorado River until reaching a massive treeless expanse. It stretches out before you so far and wide that it's almost maddening, a yellow-brown ocean of utter desolation that extends endlessly into the distance. You were told that if your group were to travel north, you would ride for days and not see a single change in the landscape, as if trapped in some barren purgatory you might never return from. Many an unprepared traveler have gotten lost on the high plains and ended up being vulture food after running out of water or running into the Comanche, which would make dying of thirst seem like an inevitable fate, an enviable fate. Which would make dying of thirst seem like an enviable fate. But you are not traveling northward. You are cutting west across the plains to the bosom of the Pecos River, where you can water both yourselves and your horses before continuing northwest towards New Mexico. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, you, the doctor, and the army couriers come to a large cottonwood forest. You ride along the tree line for a minute or two before turning down a roughly hewn track running between leaning tree trunks and thirsty-looking scrub grass. The trail winds
The trail winds through the forest for just shy of an hour, resting your horses at a steady trot after the long journey across the plains, and then finally you arrive at the river. Under the cover of full darkness, the stop there is a quick one before you and your party continue northwards until the forest opens up into plains again. You ride by moonlight for another few hours or so, guided by the winding path of the river, until finally, in the far, far distance, you see the flickering orange glow of lantern-lit Santa Fe. The horses manage a 3-beat gallop for the remainder of the journey, closing the distance between yourselves and the outskirts of Santa Fe in just a matter of minutes. Under the silvery white light of the late summer moon, Santa Fe is unlike anything you had ever seen. Dozens of mud brick adobe houses appear to have erupted from the very earth itself. Many are 2 stories high, and surrounded by their own privacy walls, appear as prehistoric fortresses managed by a strange and alien people. Santa Fe has been under the jurisdiction of the United States for over 2 decades, but only the city's governors, garrison, and guardians are Anglo-American. That's not to say Santa Fe doesn't see plenty of visitors, but it is still very much a Mexican town in terms of language and livery. Livery? Is that a term? Maybe livery? A livery would make more sense, I guess, but I've never heard that. Oh, livery. The fuck? What the hell's livery? Is it livery just like types of animals? That's not to say that Santa Fe doesn't see plenty of visitors, but it is still very much a Mexican town in terms of language and livery. It's just after midnight when you arrive on San Fernando Street, Santa Fe's main thoroughfare, which lies under the watchful gaze of the city cathedral. The doctor thanks the army couriers for the protection on the road, then, after giving you one final pitiful look, they turn and canter away. As you continue down the thoroughfare, you spot a building that appears much sturdier than the others. There are bars on the windows. The door appears to be solid iron, and above it is a rusted metal sign with the words Sheriff's Office engraved into it. You and the doctor keep walking your horses down towards what appears to be a late-night cantina, but suddenly, you catch a glimpse of a man's face staring back at you through the darkness, and it almost stops your heart for a second time in as many days. You gently jerk the reins of your horse, slowly bringing it to a stop. You then dismount, walk over to the door of the sheriff's office, then unhook a weakly burning lantern from a rung near the threshold. You take a couple of steps over to the exterior wall just underneath a barred window and raise the lantern to reveal a half a dozen frightening-looking faces. They stare out into the dark thoroughfare from the inked frames of wanted posters, but only one has grabbed your attention. Looking back at you via the monochrome lithography is the face of the man that killed you, the face of the man who led the raid in which your mother, father, and younger sister were tortured. How did I fuck that up? You gently jerk your wiener. Looking back, via the monochrome lithography, is the face of the man that killed you, the face of the man who led the raid in which your mother, father, and younger sister were tortured, raped, and eventually murdered. As you tear down the poster, the doctor joins you at the wall.
I'm assuming your recognition of this man is not affectionate,
the doctor says, as you begin thrusting the tip of your index finger into the man's remarkably well-replicated likeness.
Is this the man who attacked you and your family?
the doctor asks, and you nod frantically.
Captain William Scargill.
Ah, fuck. I don't remember what the doctor sounds like, dude. Man. Fuck. I don't know. I wish I would have had a reference voice to listen to so I could just do it. Oh, I'm so fucking annoyed with this stupid voice. Do I write these myself? No. This one's from Sam writing. Oh, I based it off the blind guy, but then I could feel myself deviating from that blind guy because I couldn't quite hit the blind guy right, but I was annoyed and in a hurry. I didn't want to sit there go looking for a fucking Red Dead character. I don't know. Fuck, it's whatever.
Captain William Scargill, the doctor reads. Former Confederate cavalry officer. Wanted for murder, rape, and larceny across Arizona and New Mexico territories. $4,000 reward, dead or alive. This notice takes the place of all previous notices. Contact Sheriff Santa Fe County.
Having read all there is to read, the doctor gives you a grave look.
I imagine your attacker was a dangerous man. But $4,000 suggests they're more than just your average bushwhacker. And their former occupation suggests that we will need far more than just you and I to avenge your kin.
You take in the man's words, but your eyes remain fixed on Captain Scargill's face, seething with fury.
Perhaps our time here will be better served looking for the man and not looking at his poster,
the doctor says, walking over to the door of the sheriff's office before slamming his fist onto the iron thrice over. And seconds later, a small hatch slides open.
Who are you? What do you want?
A voice croaks from behind the door.
I'm Dr. Theodore Cochran, the doctor says. And this here is a recent acquaintance and traveling companion. We wish to speak with the sheriff regarding one of the fugitives you have posted on the wall there.
You really a doctor?
The voice croaks in inquiry.
That I am, the doctor replies. Certified at the University of Alabama back in '51.
There is a pause, then a dull metal clunk as the iron door unlocks, then swings open. The man that greets you is stick-thin, looks painfully dehydrated, and has a shock of pallid, greasy hair combed across his scalp. And without a doubt, his most striking feature is the single, dark hole where his nose used to be.
Come on inside. I'll wake the sheriff,
he says. You walk into the office, and the man with no nose closes the iron door behind you. The interior...
Fuck, did I fuck up? Oh, I feel like I'm not encapsulating these characters, because it said he croaked. Come on inside. Should I have said it more like that? I feel like you don't find... I need to, ask him to, write me exactly who the fuck I'm speaking as in this, so that I know who to reference. Oh, it's the blind man. Look up man with no nose. It comes up the blind man from fucking Red Dead again. It's just gonna be the same guy. Sling blade voice. Mm-hmm. I don't even know. I don't know what to do. Gotta be croaking. I'd rather be croaking. Who are you? And what do you want? A voice croaks from behind the door.
I'm Dr. Theodore Cochran, the doctor says. And this here is a recent acquaintance and traveling companion. We wish to speak with the sheriff regarding one of the fugitives you have posted on the wall there.
You really a doctor?
The voice croaks in inquiry.
That I am, the doctor replies. Certified at the University of Alabama back in 51.
There is a pause, and then a dull metal clunk as the iron door unlocks and swings open. The man that greets you is stick-thin, looks painfully dehydrated, and has a shock of pallid, greasy hair combed across his scalp. But without a doubt, his most striking feature is the single, dark hole where his nose used to be.
I'm on his side. I'll wake the sheriff,
he says. You walk in the office, and the man with no nose closes the iron door behind you. The interior of the sheriff's office is cramped, grubby, and dimly lit. There are 2 cells, one inhabited by what appears to be an inebriated Mexican, and the other inhabited by a wild-looking man with a coarse beard who's looking to be dozing with his boots on.
Sheriff,
the man with no nose calls out.
We got a doctor coming to pay us a visit.
The wild-looking man stirs from his slumber.
Doctor, you say? How fortuitous.
I don't know what the fuck. Listlessly. I don't want to do another voice. I'm gonna fucking throw myself off a stupid bridge.
A doctor, you say?
Oh wait, who says it? The wild man stirs from his slumber. A doctor, you say? How fortuitous, he says. And to what do we owe the pleasure to visit? Is that, I don't understand who, okay, so see, like this here is kind of confusing where it says the wild man stirs from his slumber, and then it cuts right into, a doctor, you say? How fortuitous. Like that to me, and it says he says, it sounds like it's referencing the man who's slumbering, as if though he's like, oh, a chance to be cured of my shit. I assume it's the sheriff, right? I don't know. I don't know who's talking right now. Let's see. Well, let's read a little bit more. A doctor, you say, how fortuitous, he says listlessly. What does that even mean, listlessly? He doesn't have a lisp? And to what do we owe the pleasure of his visit?
Says he wants to talk about one of the wanted posters out there.
The noseless man croaks. See, right here it should have said, when it says he, who is he? Is it sheriff? Or is it the stirring man? This is important. It's Colonel Sanders. Everybody's fucking Colonel Sanders in this story. Says he wants to talk to you about this.
This is correct. My acquaintance and I have inquired as to whereabout.
Sheriff's expression changes dramatically upon hearing. Okay. It's now. Okay, it is the sheriff. We have to. Soldier through in the name of truth and justice. Yeah, we're getting close to fin. We got 8 more pages of this, and we'll be on our way out to the great bond. Without attention, heedlessly. Okay, thank you. Okay, he's like sarcastic. Maybe. I don't know. What's that one guy you were saying? Red Dead Sheriff. Everybody's just a Red Dead character, but not really. They all just sound the fucking same anyways. Marshall. Oh, this is actually a scene from Red Dead. That's hilarious. I did. I for two. Okay, yeah, we'll do that one. Well, at least we got that guy pulled up if we need to reference him.
The wild-looking man stirs from his slumber.
A doctor, you say? How fortuitous,
He says listlessly.
And what do we owe the pleasure of this visit? Says he wants to talk to you about one of the old wanted posters out there.
The noseless man croaks.
That is correct.
The doctor said.
I can't even remember for a fucking second. I wish I had a reference, dude. My brain is not good at remembering fucking shit from 3 seconds ago.
That is correct. My acquaintance and I wish to inquire as to the whereabouts of Captain William
I don't fucking know.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Something like that.
That is correct.
The doctor says.
My acquaintance and I wish to inquire about the whereabouts of Captain William Scargill.
I don't remember what he sounds like. Anybody remember? Anybody have a fucking... Oh, I hate this shit. Next time? Dude, and we have to do a part 2 too. Fuck, dude. I legitimately feel like starting this whole fucking thing over again because I didn't have a plan for the voices. And it kind of kills it if I can't, like, remember page to page what fucking character I'm stupid referencing. Heavens to Murgatroyd, everybody. We're gonna go crazy. Need a legend, yeah. Yeah, but I can't remember, like, I feel like I keep, like, accidentally making him sound like fucking British or something. More southern.
That is correct.
The doctor says.
My acquaintance and I wish to inquire about the whereabouts.
There we go. It's Ben Shapiro. No, fuck that. Don't even say that.
That is correct.
The doctor says.
My acquaintance and I wish to inquire about the whereabouts of Captain William Scar...
Holy crap, this actually sucks. I feel like my brain can't, like... I can't like remember what feels right for that character. I don't even know. I can't quite remember what it sounded like. Oh yeah, Foghorn Leghorn. I did. Yeah, yes. That is correct. There we go. Yeah, good call. We'll get Foghorn Leghorn reference here. Supposed to be.
That is correct, the doctor says. My acquaintance and I wish to inquire about the whereabouts of Captain William Scargill.
The sheriff's expression changed dramatically upon hearing the name, as if the doctor had uttered some kind of ancient and terrible curse.
What's wrong? What's wrong? The sheriff asks. Ain't I? You got the... What the fuck is this saying? What's wrong? The sheriff asks. Ain't either of you got the disposition for suicide? Oh, like saying... I don't even... Yeah. I did. Fella from the train company. All right.
The sheriff's expression changes dramatically upon hearing the name, as if the doctor had uttered some kind of ancient and terrible curse.
What's wrong?
The sheriff asks.
Ain't either of you got the disposition for suicide?
I beg your pardon?
Asked the doctor.
Because if each of you got some kind of death wish, I can put a couple of old bullets right in you now, save you both a lot of time, and you could probably a lot of agony too.
The sheriff remarks.
I think my acquaintance...
I don't even want to read that. I legitimately don't want to fucking read this story anymore. This is so annoying to me that I didn't establish... Oh, I'm so fucking angry that I didn't establish, but I don't want to go back. God fucking damn it. Oh, that's so annoying. And so sad, too. Sad because it's like, I want to give you guys a consistent experience through the whole fucking production, right? And we still got, and this is part one, or, or whatever. God, dude. It's just like this character keeps wanting to just every time I fucking talk, it keeps wanting to go back to some curious little British man or something. I can't even. Man, I'm so fucking annoyed with myself. Why didn't I just have a character pulled up on YouTube from the beginning? Oh my god. It's such a stupid thing to get bent out of shape over, too. But it's it's just so stupid. Like, I want to be able to do these stupid fucking voices right so it sounds like a consistent thing. Fuck. I think my acquaintance and I would appreciate your knowledge of the man a whole lot. Okay.
I think my acquaintance and I would appreciate your knowledge of the man a whole lot more, the doctor replies.
And I'd appreciate... That's how he talks. Gotta go back fucking 50 fucking times. Yeah, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't have me sending 2 more men to their deaths, says the sheriff. But I guess we're just gonna have to balance that account too.
2 more?
The doctor asks. Jessup, the sheriff. The sheriff says, addressing the noseless man. Put on a put on a cock and ball. Put on a pot of coffee for our guests. This might take a while.
The sheriff takes a seat behind his desk, then invites both you and the doctor to do the same ahead of it. He opens a drawer, retrieves a small tin of chewing tobacco, then plants a thick wad of oily-looking substance between his cheek and gum before fixing his gaze on you. I hope you don't plan on this man accompanying you on the hunt for Bloody Bill Scar. I hope you do not plan on this man accompanying you on the hunt for Bloody Bill Scargill. His question is directed at the doctor, but his stare is unfaltering.
If it were not for my acquaintance, then I'd not be here in the first place,
the doctor replies.
Well, shit. Kimberly Martin, holy shit. With a huge 50 buccarinos. Thank you. Appreciate you, sorry. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you have a message, please do at me. Very kind. Is that a question? Will help you do not plan on this man accompany on the hunt for Bloody Bill Scargill. His question is directed at the doctor, but his stare is unfaltering.
Well, if it were not for my acquaintance, then I'd... God. I say. Well, if it were not for my acquaintance, then I'd not be here in the first place, the doctor replies.
Well, I've seen prettier looking corpses. Dude, I really don't. I'm not in the mood to like fucking do back and forth dialogue in these fucking voices that I can't remember in my head. Sarah T says, "Go Kansas City, everyone. Please stay safe tomorrow." Thanks, Sarah.
If it were not for my acquaintance, then I'd not be here in the first place,
the doctor replies.
Well, I've seen prettier looking corpses.
The sheriff sucks on the wad of tobacco in his cheek, then spits a stream of putrid brown saliva into a nearby bucket.
I can assure you, he is well enough to travel. The only question is where?
The doctor states.
To your fucking deaths is where,
the sheriff says.
You don't think $4,000 hasn't brought plenty of lawmen, bounty hunters, and try their luck pricks through here? Well, it's brought plenty. And do you know how many of them have come back?
The doctor doesn't hazard a guess.
One.
The sheriff barks.
One single, solitary, miserable fuck who managed to make it back without Scargill butchering them, or the Comanche scalping them.
The man with no nose steps into view, pot and coffee cups in hand before nervously laying them down on the sheriff's desk. His disposition softens as he leans back into his chair and thanks his assistant for his obedience.
I can tell you where Scargill is, he continues. But on your heads be it to go out there looking for him. You got your fucking warning. It's the only one I'll give you. I appreciate it, Sheriff, the doctor says slowly. But I have a compact with this man, and it is one I will see fulfilled. All right,
the sheriff replies.
Then I'll tell you a story. From what I gather, Captain William Scargill was born into a wealthy plantation family in Missouri. And at the age of 20, his father was killed by a free stater during the Kansas Border War, and he swore he'd get revenge. He runs off intent on joining the Confederate Army, but runs into a group of bushwhackers first, real nasty types. He joins up with them instead. They're not headed off to join the Army of Northern Virginia. Oh no. They're headed over to Kansas to ride on Union jaywalkers, the same kind of folks that killed his daddy. So off he goes, riding into Kansas with his band of raiders, and this is where Scargill gets his first real taste of killing. Him and his boys end up attacking this abolitionist town called Lawrence, on account of where being all these fresh-faced Union recruits belayed there. But once they get there, their whole fucking plan goes to shit. They were supposed to ride in, shoot up the recruits, and take off into the storm. That sounded weird. Scrap it. So yeah, we're scrapping this whole thing. I think we kind of found a thing. I just couldn't, like, it's like at least I can reference the, yeah, whatever. Anyways. They were supposed to ride in, shoot up the recruits, and take off in a storm of dust before those greyhorns even knew what hit them. But once they got into town, they can't find no fucking Union barracks. Just a ragtag militia who melt away at the first sign of trouble. But Scargill and his boys don't just ride out again like they should have. They started shooting anything that moved. Women, children, old folks, dogs, you name it, and the raiders killed it. And by the day's end, at least 120 armed people lay dead in the streets. It was a fucking massacre.
The sheriff takes a sip of his coffee, having offered some to yourself and the doctor.
But they knew what they did,
he says.
Those good old boys who signed up to defend against injustice. They knew they committed an unforgivable sin, killing women and children like they were no better than rabid animals. For some of them, that made for their last raid, and they deserted in shame in the weeks that followed. But for the others, they never wanted to know anything else. Killing does that to some men, the sheriff continued. Makes them feel like God himself up there in heaven decided who gets to live and who gets to die. It becomes a habit to him, just in the way some men get a taste for whiskey or the itch to win a hand of poker. And I guess that's what happened to old Bloody Bill, too. That's what they called him, still call him, on account of how much he loved to shed it. But when Lee surrendered to Grant and the war was brought to a close, Scargill wasn't done killing. He split off with his own band of raiders, rode west, and he's been plaguing just about everybody from Texas to Tucson ever since, the sheriff explains. The sheriff explains. He's got a rowdy band with him too, real killers, not the kind of folks you want to go messing with in your condition. The sheriff gives you an absent-minded nod while making his final point. He does not notice your knuckles turning white as you grip the arms of the chair you sat in. But say we did want to go messing. I can't fucking remember. I say. Opinions on Drake's leaks. We have to all. I gotta leak mine too, just to counteract his leaks. It's the only way. I look forward to his new album dropping as well. Please give your opinion. Please, I beg of you to tell me what you think about Drake's wiener. Please, Lord. Praying and hoping someone would tell me their thoughts on his penis. Nice cock. Please, leak yours now. Please. God. I'm on my knees, Lord. But we say we didn't mess with them. I say. But say we did go messing with them. I don't remember what this doctor fucking sounds like. I don't remember what any of the motherfuckers sound like, bro. But say we did go messing with them, the doctor asked. Where would we go? You and just about every bounty hunter you can get your hands on would have to ride out into Comanche country, the sheriff replies. The subject of our sheltering. Oh, I'm so fucking mentally dead from this shit. Mainly just because I don't stay consistent with any of this. I've said it 1,000 times, doesn't matter. Alright. You and just about every bounty hunter. Tell me what you do. But, my God. Y'all sleep at the switch. Y'all. But say we... Oh, my God. It's just one page ends up taking as long as 12 pages of just normal exposition. But say we did want to go messing with them, the doctor asked. Where would we go? I actually don't. How do I not remember what this motherfucker sounds like? It's weird that my brain not having some degree of guidance is so fucking lost.
But say we did want to go messing with them.
I say. But say we did want to go messing with them. Where would we go? But say we did want to go messing with them, the doctor asked. Where would we go?
You and just about every bounty hunter you can get your hands on would have to ride out into Comanche country,
the sheriff replies. The subject of our hunt is smeltering among the Comanche?
Smeltering? What the fuck's wrong?
The subject of our hunt is sheltering among the Comanche?
The doctor. The octor.
The subject of our hunt is sheltering among the Comanche? The doctor asks in disbelief.
Well, not sheltering with them so much as using them for such purposes,
the sheriff replies.
Scargill knows that any man that pursues him through the territory is like to be termed.
I don't actually want to do a part 2 after the. I legitimately don't want to finish this stupid fucking stuff. Oh my god. I'm so mad that I didn't just get voice it. I didn't just I'm so angry with myself, honestly. Fuck. That's so cringe. It's so fucking cringe that I didn't organize this better from the beginning, because it's just gonna sound like such shit. And then the fact that I gotta do part 2. Oh, fuck, man. I just set myself up for fucking failure. What if we kissed in Comanche country? Just the first read. I'm not gonna narrate it again. I really have no this. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just find a new voice. Let's find a voice. Southern old man voice. Holy fuck. Immediately brings up the guy's like, I got Grey Goose in here, baby. That's not, I don't know. Oh my god, bro.
Scargill.
I don't like this at all. This is so annoying.
You fell from the train. Here we go. Scargill knows that any man that pursues him through their territory is likely to be turned back or turned inside out before they can reach him. But why did Comanche... I don't even... Just I get to it and I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan for this at all, bro.
Pop of the voice. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's bringing down the entire channel. The whole channel's fucked. The whole channel's fucked from one video. I might just be horny. I'm sorry, guys. This is what happens. I get all worked up. Okay, Scargill knows that any man that pursues him. Why did the Comanche?
Why did the Comanche not attack him in his band? The doctor asks.
Believe it or not,
The sheriff begins, then issues a pregnant pause as he unleashes a wet squish of tobacco juice in the
I hate this. Believe it or not,
The sheriff begins, then issues a pregnant pause as he unleashes a wet squish of tobacco juice into the
I can't say the word spittoon.
The sheriff begins, then issues a pregnant pause as he unleashes a wet squish of tobacco juice into the spittoon.
The Comanche are afraid of him.
The Comanche fear this man? The doctor echoes, once again with a tone of utter disbelief.
Fear him, respect him, tolerate him. It's not exactly clear,
The sheriff says.
but there is evidently some variety of concord between them. Otherwise, Scargill would not have lasted 3 years out there.
Out where?
Shit. Dude, I can't stop doing like a stupid fucking British like voice.
Out where? Out where?
Like, how the fuck do I just do like a southern, grimy old grimester? Damn, dude. Country music. Out where? I just can't, even when I'm like saying it, I like can't even hear it in my head. That's the thing, dude. I have like something, I honestly think I have something wrong with my brain, because like I'll listen to fucking the pronunciation of a word 50 times during a live stream and forget it. I'll just like forget it like 10 seconds later, and I have to hear it over and over again. And in the same way, I can't think of this stupid dude's voice because it's changed like 4 times. Tarnacity. Out where? Out where, Sheriff?
Out where, Sheriff? The doctor asks him. He sighs before answering.
Antelope Hills,
He says.
We think he's out there north of the Red River somewhere. Most probably sheltered up in the hills. It's a natural fortress. Flat top hills, steep and forested on all sides. It'd take every gunslinger in Galveston to flush him out of them hills. And $4,000 doesn't buy that many.
But it will buy some gunslingers, correct? The doctor retorts.
That is your concern, friend, not mine,
The sheriff says.
I issued your warning. I will not issue another.
And hypothetically speaking, the doctor begins, if I were a person, wanted to find a hired gun or two in this like humble jurisdiction, where would they go?
I hate this. I hate the fact that I cannot. I'm trying to do yeehaw and I just can't, I can't, man. I can't do a yeehaw on this motherfucker for some reason. Thank you, Sully, for the 10. I do declare my retort, sir. Sir. And hypothetically speaking,
the doctor begins, if a person were to find a hired gun or two in this humble jurisdiction, where would they go?
I do not know what that word means, the sheriff replies. So I will tell you to fuck yourself, and that there are always fast men looking for fast money at the cantina down the way there.
I see. The doctor nods. Those are all the questions I have for you.
Then I must bid you farewell and good luck,
the sheriff replies, and then rises from his chair. He reaches out to the doctor and shakes his hand, then reaches out for yours. He reaches out to the doctor and shakes his hand, then reaches out for yours in turn.
I would advise you to remain in this man's care, he said. What does this even mean? And I would advise you to remain in this man's care, he says, referring to the doctor. Though I would sooner see you in a hospital bed, for I fear Scargill might just finish you off.
The sheriff detects a slight increase in the tightness of your grip around his hand. Around his hand? Oh.
Holy fucking ballsack.
The sheriff detects a slight increase in the tightness of your grip around his hand, but the residual numbness of the morphine prevents any tangible display of emotion. He's not the subject of your ire. He is the facilitator of your revenge, and there is peace in being one step closer to it. You and the doctor exit the sheriff's office, take your horses by the reins, and lead them down the street towards the warm glow and hive-like hum of the town's late-night cantina.
The sheriff's right there is right. The sheriff is right, the doctor says. We're unprepared for the trials of the journey ahead of us. We need men. We need armaments. We need supplies. And above all, we need a goddamn plan. But first,
I'm so mad at myself about this. And it's such a stupid thing to get mad about. But in my head, I cannot remember at all what this fucking guy sounds like, what I wanted him to sound like, I think I have fucking broken brain disease. I could totally train an AI voice model if you want, and you can use it and never have to read again. I don't know. I feel like every AI I've heard never sounds good. I need an ice bath. just freeze me and take out my organs. I got a Brian tumor. Hey, welcome back, Joni Plank. That might help.
But first, and I must apologize, my friend, for I know you do not possess all the faculties to join me, he says. But I must insist on getting a goddamn drink.
And with that, you and the doctor continue towards the cantina, where your hopes hinge on hiring a few good men that are unafraid to ride off in pursuit of the devil himself.
I don't know. Fuck this. I should have, I don't know. That next time, whatever. Stupid fucking thing. Hey, Elvira, welcome back for 8 months. Sometimes the doctor's voice gives me Dr. Loveless vibes from Wild Wild West. Yeah, I like that's the thing. Well, you know what? That's a good point. I need to like. All right, yeah. Let's Dr. Loveless. Let's look him up real quick. Maybe we can learn for the next one who we're referencing and. Oh, Wild Wild West. Don't you just hey? Don't you just hey? What'd you think of the Ben and Destiny video? I didn't really watch a whole lot. Personally, I'm not like really a big fan of either of them, and I can only listen to like two AI robots make squeaky noises at each other for too long before I get bored. But yeah, I gotta color code these voices. But yeah, sorry about that. I don't know. I thought that would be way easier, and that was not easy in the sense. And it was mainly just like I said, my fault. I didn't label the voices, and then but I just am mad at myself that I don't have a continuation of each character. And then on top of that, I also have no desire to fucking like restart the whole thing just to like get it right. So next time I'm going to probably just, before the next part's even written, get it down exactly what the character should sound like based on like a YouTube video or something that can be referenced, and then just know where to reference things. Otherwise I'm just kind of like fingering in the mud, the muck and mire of a dark cave. I'm just not in the mood for that shit right now. But anyways, thanks for being here, guys, and I will be sure to get this up and edited over on Patreon. It's in the $5 tier, or if you're a member over here now, welcome. And you will have access to all that good bonus content coming your way here soon. So stay tuned. You should get the notification when it goes live. Otherwise, I'll post it on Twitter. And yeah, there'll be a compilation video on Monday. And then I'll be back streaming on Wednesday. Alright, yeah. Sorry about the frustrations. I don't know what's wrong with me. Fucking psycho. Perfectionist psycho. The perfect personality traits everyone's looking for. Anyways. Bye-bye.